You know what? No. I'm going to go no now. Aaron Judge is not a Hall of Famer.
Next one then comes in from Anonymous. Bo is not a shortstop. Please just get a compatible shortstop who won't commit 15 to 20 errors a season. Move Espinal and Biggio to get that done. Not a lot of love here. What are your thoughts on Bo Bichette in general? Do you think he's a shortstop 5 years from now with the Blue Jays?
So Bo Bichette is incredibly durable. Let's start with some of the positives with Bo Bichette. He's played 158 games at shortstop this season. That is incredibly valuable. He's probably going to get a day off today and tomorrow, or one of those 2 days. But if you can have a shortstop who is pushing 160 games at the position, I mean, the value in that is such an intangible. And Bo plays. He's out there. He's had September that puts him as a top 5 offensive shortstop for the month. And truly, he put up such great numbers in September that he's a top 10 offensive shortstop in the entire league for the 2022 season. Listen, he's got a 289 average. He's got 24 home runs, 48 doubles. The guy hits the ball all over the field. He's a run producer. Yep. 93 RBIs. I don't think that we need to argue the offensive side of Bo Bichette. And I get what Anonymous is saying when it comes to his defensive numbers because they're not great. You look at outs above average, he's at negative 16. That's big. That hurts. His defensive runs saved, so DRS, which is another defensive metric, he's at negative 5. Just to compare him to a guy who has comparable offensive numbers, take a look at Dansby Swanson in the National League with the Atlanta Braves. Okay, right. Now Dansby Swanson is 28 years old. He's got a little bit of age on him. He's a little bit more experienced, but outs above average, Dansby Swanson is putting up 20 in comparison to Bo Bichette's negative 16. That is a lot. That's a 36 outs above average difference, and that hurts. His defensive run saves are plus 7. And Dansby Swanson has 25 home runs. And he's putting up a bunch of RBIs and is a run producer in that Atlanta offense. All of this to say, no, I still think that Bo Bichette is probably the shortstop of the future for this team. One thing to keep in mind with these defensive metrics is that because Bo Bichette is so rangy and because he does get to so many balls, and yes, he's airmailing some of them, and he's probably throwing balls that he should, once he gets to them, should just hold on to them. I think that's something that will come with age, right? Like, I know we bring this up all the time, and Baltimore fans just get so upset about it, but he is younger than Adley Rutschman, who is a top contender for Rookie of the Year. I don't know, man. I don't think that him moving to second base is the be-all, end-all. Will it solve some problems? Yes, but who are they going to play at shortstop? If the Jays go out and have the opportunity to get a high-end shortstop, I think that they are at the point where they would consider moving Bo, especially if they feel Bo's not going to sign an extension, right? So, like, if you're not 100% worried about the relationship there, maybe we do see him moved. I really don't. I think the emphasis on the detriment he is at shortstop is a little overblown, especially with how much offensive output he brings at that position. But we'll need to wait and see. Like, do you feel strongly one way or the other? Like, do you think it's time to move Bo from shortstop? I know we have both had those moments throughout the season where we're like, that's it. Kind of throw our hands in the air, move him to second.
Mm-hmm. Man, I keep going back and forth on this. Like, shortstop is just so hard to play well. Like,
It is.
it's really easy to. Here's the thing with like stats is some stats don't tell the whole story, and some defensive metrics tell too much of the story.
Yes.
Right? Like, it's really easy to just look at a list of MLB error leaders and see Bo Bichette right up at the top of it and go, yeah, he stinks. Right? And to tell, what does he have? 23 errors on the season or something like this?
Yeah, he's I think there's a couple shortstops who have made more mistakes, but not many.
So, oof. I mean, you and I are both kind of working on our playoff rankings for MLB position players of who's left in the playoffs. I'm looking at this list of shortstops, and there's not too many I'd rather have. Like, on a straight across trade, there's only maybe 2 or 3. Like, add Carlos Correa to the list.
Mm-hmm.
He's not on a playoff team, but add him.
I mean, if you
Other
look at
than
the
that, I
playoff-
don't know what to say about moving Bo Bichette to second base. Like, it's
Like, if you look at the playoff shortstops, right, which is Isaiah Kinner-Falefa, Bo's way better than he is, you know? You look at Jeremy Pena, who's having a heck of a rookie season with Houston and had massive shoes to fill with Carlos Correa. His offensive output doesn't even come close to Bichette's, although he is a league average defender, which is pretty impressive for a rookie. So his defense is a little bit better, but I think I'd still rather Bo Bichette than Jeremy Pena at shortstop at this point.
Jeremy Pena, by the way, 29 errors. Bo Bichette, 23. So
he's making errors as well, although if you look at his outs above average and his defensive runs saved, they are much better than Bo's. That said, the kid is a rookie and he is going to make errors. Wander Franco, kind of in the same boat, right? Like, he's a rangy guy. He makes a lot of plays. He's got, he's a little below average when it comes to defensive runs saved and outs above average. And he's putting up some errors as well. He's only had 300 at-bats this year with a little bit of injury troubles throughout the season. So Jeremy Pena and Wander Franco are probably the 2 guys that compete most with Bo out of the playoff shortstops, and I would rather Bo than both of them right now in this season, 2022. I'm not saying that Wander Franco couldn't be a better shortstop. He's still 21 years old, everybody. So let's we talk about how young Bo is, but Wander is still just a kid. The Mariners, J.P. Crawford, like, blah.
yeah, blah.
Cleveland with Ahmed Rosario, he's had a good season, but he's about as mid as they come. He does everything quite well, but he's not mind-blowing defensively, and offensively, he's fine, A little bit of pop. He runs the bases well. I'd still rather Bo Bichette. So if you go down all of these playoff shortstops and Bo Bichette's still coming out as the guy you want the most, I don't know what to say, right?
I mean, yeah, it's just we're talking about Bo Bichette as a easily top 10 shortstop in the league, right?
I would say so, yeah. Out of the 30 teams, he's going to rank top 10 on most people's lists. Even people who don't like him are probably going to put him in top 10.
So, to say, would we rather have the number 1 short? Would we rather have Trey Turner? Yeah, of course. But, would I also rather have Justin Verlander than Jose Barrios? Yeah, you bet. But, there's only so many moves that are possible to be made, I guess, is the frustrating part with this is, he's our guy. He's our best option at shortstop right now. To just say, move him. Okay, but for what? There isn't just an abundance of shortstops on a shortstop tree that you can just pick off and go, oh, this one's ripe, plug them in, right? So I don't know. Carlos Correa is a free agent this year. If the Blue Jays really want to spend a buttload of money, that's the answer, I guess, is go get Carlos Correa. But short of that, like, Bo's our shortstop moving forward, I would say.
I would say you are correct. Let's wrap it up there.
Let's wrap it up there. Okay, yeah. Mailbag in the books.
Big thank you to everyone who has stuck with us for this whole episode. If you are still watching, obviously hit that subscribe button. It means a lot. Any likes and comments are greatly appreciated. A big tip of the hat to everyone in Patreon. I know I'm throwing you on the spot here, Adam, but do you have the list of
I have the list.
Valuable Patreon?
I have the list of our Shohei Ohtani nominees. Patreon.com/The Walk-Off Podcast. Big shout out to Kyle, Joey, Patrick, Wyatt, John, Dunedin, Bob, Michael, Sarah, John, Rashid, Joshua, Jeremy, and Ian. Thank you for supporting the show and helping us keep the lights on over here and keep the content coming. So big appreciation. There you go.
We really appreciate all of you within the walk-off community. This thing continues to grow and become an animal of its own. It's a little bit overwhelming, but honestly, we love talking Blue Jays baseball and all the interaction that you folks are involved with us. Thank you so much. Discord, feel free to join it. That is always free. The show, or the link is in the show notes. You can follow us on Twitter at Walk-Off Podcast, on Instagram, The Walk-Off Podcast. And if you are watching on YouTube currently and you're not subscribed, we'd really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button. All the best, everybody. Cheers.